everybody. It's Dr. Goggin from Possibility Doc, and I'm here with Coach Josie, and we are the Startup Sisters. And we're super excited today. We're going to talk about nutrition for sports, right? What do you need to eat in order to feel awesome? All right. This is so important right now. Josie, have you ever had time when you ate?
Yeah.
So right now you're bridging out of college. What's college eating been like for you?
I eat pretty healthy.
Mhm.
I like to prepare my own food, but also when I'm busy, I eat what's most convenient. So it doesn't always go how I want it to.
Sister. I totally know what you mean. Well, I have been trying to gradually get myself to eat better, but there were times, and in medical school, honestly, they give you such a tiny bit of information about how to help people nutritionally. You learn how to give people IV nutrition and NG tube nutrition in medical school, and then you have like maybe one lecture that is based on sort of the FDA or the large governing body that gives us these out of date recommendations that really are not even true anymore. I mean, it's important people get their own nutritional information. Your doctor may or may not know, right? So when did you start to make a shift? And what was your first? I mean, most of us eat kind of crummy when we're little.
Yeah.
What was the first thing that you did to try and eat healthier?
When I moved out, I started noticing that I couldn't tolerate dairy like I used to.
Yeah.
So that kind of encouraged me to start to pay attention to what I was eating, really.
Yeah, it's so funny because not tolerating dairy. When I was a kid, my family would laugh about how smelly my farts were. I mean, I was tooting all the time. I'm serious. And I used to drink so much milk. I mean, I would drink because of course, milk, it does body good was a big thing back then in the 80s when I was in high school and I was an athlete. And so I was drinking a ton of milk. I mean, I probably would drink 4 glasses of milk a day, a lot of milk. And so, come to find finally when I stopped dairy, when I was maybe, I guess I must have been in my 30s when I stopped dairy. And it was suddenly like I did not have embarrassing gas anymore. And, I remember before I stopped dairy having to try and hold my toots in because I didn't want to smell up around. It's terrible. It's so embarrassing, right? I mean, honestly, farts are good. Farts mean your gut is working. And I mean, there is too much of a good thing, right? But in general, if you don't fart, you die. And so it's important that we are passing gas through. That's right. After a surgery, when your gut slows down and things aren't moving through, they keep asking you, did you pass gas? Did you pass gas? Because it's so essential. But there are foods like you've discovered that will make you have more gas than you need. And, bloating and dairy is honestly, it's a big one.
Yeah.
But we digress. We're going to talk a little bit about sports nutrition and how you can get the most energy from your food. And I think that, Josie and I both feel strongly that dieting is not the way that, to lose weight, if you're going to try and lose weight, we're not really thinking about dieting. When you, Josie, are trying to direct yourself in the right way so that your body's using food properly, what kind of thoughts are going through your head?
I'm paying attention to how I feel throughout the day, and especially I eat when I'm hungry and I stop when I'm not hungry anymore. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, when you look at the blue zones, those areas where people live to be 100 more commonly than the normal places, what you find is there are habits in those populations. One is that you don't really eat until you're totally full. So you maybe stop when you're about 80% full. And the reason to do that is because in 20 more minutes, you're going to feel full. That full message takes time to get to your brain. So stopping when you're 80% full. And I think listening to your body is so, so important, because sometimes when we're hungry, we aren't always hungry for food. If you listen to your body, you'll start to learn, oh, this is actually thirsty. And so that's one thing I tell people. We'll start with a glass of water, because most people don't have enough water, right? So start with a glass of water and then see how your body feels. And then, with mindful eating, I think it's important to make healthy eating easy. Do you have any tricks that you've done to make healthy eating easy at your place?
I just like fruit that's easy to grab and go, like bananas or oranges. I also really like Big Newtons.
Oh,
Kind of cookies, but
well, they do have some redeeming value. There's a lot of fiber in fig Newtons. And, one thing for people who are trying to shift to a healthier way of eating, fiber is something that is lacking in most people's diets. And, fruit is a great source of fiber, fruit and vegetables. And, I think that we really should actually be adding some extra fiber, like things like chia pudding. Chia, you can sprinkle on top of stuff. You can put it in water and drink it. In fact, I have my world famous chia cocktail every day, which is a cup of water with a tablespoon of chia, a tablespoon of psyllium husk, and a tablespoon of ground flaxseed, and a splash of apple cider vinegar to make it interesting. This has replaced wine for me, and that's a little scary, isn't it? But I'll put the recipe below for you guys because it tastes kind of nice because of that apple cider vinegar. It's huge amount of fiber there, and I try and do that at least once a day, just so I can keep the insides going. It's like it scrubs your colon as it's moving on through. It's really good for you. But as we speak about sports performance and how we can optimize, there's a lot of questions around things like, well, how should I go low carb? Should I go keto? What percentage should I take in for optimal performance? And I mean, I think there are guidelines, but and before we tell you some guidelines, well, I want to say that each person has individual needs, and people are going to do better with less carbs. Some people will do better with more carbs. But I think that recent studies are showing us that maybe for high level athletic performance, keto may not be the thing. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that so what is suggested now is if you're doing high level athletic performance and you're low carb or ketogenic diet, which is where you eat a ton of healthy fats, not just meat, it's mostly healthy fats. And then those people use fats as their energy source. You need to look at your endurance sport or your high performance sport and see what kind of needs, because you really may have to go shift in and out of keto in order to get optimal performance. But I know you've looked up a few guidelines of whereabouts to aim. What did you find when you found out about optimal, like, macros? Macros are carbs, fats, and proteins, basically. Some people include another one that's alcohol. I don't include that as a macro, but I've been in at least a couple programs where they talked about it, basically because they wanted to put it somewhere so people would know how they felt about it. But let's take fats. My favorite high fat food is butter.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I put butter on kind of everything. Well, because I tended to go more low carb and trying to get my energy from fat. So I eat quite a bit of, like, grass-fed organic butter. And when I was younger, there was a time when I weighed my heaviest. When I was, it was probably 20 pounds more than I weigh now. And I was eating zero fat. And I'm telling you that if people are trying to lose weight, they have to eat fat, because your body thinks you're starving and you won't be able to lose weight if you're eating zero fat. So fats are things like oil. What's your cooking oils, Coach Josie?
Yeah, I like olive oil, coconut oil, and just vegetable oil.
Yeah. So when we think of healthy fats, for high heat cooking, coconut oil is good. My favorite oil for medium, high heat cooking is avocado oil, because it has fewer saturated fats than the coconut oil, and it's great all-purpose oil. Some people don't know about the fact that olive oil should not be used at medium or high heat. So if you guys are cooking with olive oil is really more for drizzling. It's not so much for cooking with, because it changes into the dastardly things like trans fats, and it changes its structure. So it becomes kind of poisonous. And it's a good time to talk about trans fats. Anything that has the word hydrogenated on it, on the package, that's got a little bit of poison for you. You shouldn't eat it. So if you look at oils and they say hydrogenated oils, it's not good. It's not good. And then we have butter and ghee. Have you ever used ghee?
No.
So ghee is clarified butter. And so for people who are sensitive to dairy, it's got some of the milk solids removed. So it's less allergenic and usually considered a little healthier than just butter. My kids don't really like the taste of ghee. I'm not sure why. I think it's great. I mean, I'm a butter girl. So we've got olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, and then there's fruits such as avocados that are really high in healthy fats. So that's the fats. I'm not a big fan of vegetable oils in general. In general, much of the healthy stuff is removed or changed. Commonly, it's packaged in plastics, and it's not also super great for us because the plastics can absorb into the oil. It's so sad. So you want it, if possible, in a dark glass. And fats will go rancid. And when they go rancid, then it's like you're putting a little bit of poison. And fats are so important because they make up all of our cells' membranes are created of fats. And everything happens across the membrane as we're trying to make more energy so we can run faster to our best. So healthy fats, super important. What's your next macro you want to talk about?
Protein.
Protein. Lots of good sources of protein. Your favorite is?
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter. Oh, well, I am a big fan of nut butters. I like that nutso. Have you ever had nutso?
No.
Oh gosh, they have it at Costco sometimes when you're lucky, but it's a mix of different nut butters. It doesn't have peanut butter in it. And actually, I used to eat a lot of peanut butter. I don't as much anymore because I don't know if you know, but I used to have a mold problem, and mold got in me. I got very sick. I thought I was going to die. And peanut butter is one of those foods that tends to might have some mold in it. So for that reason, I shy away. And then it is one of the things that people tend to have allergic reactions to. So you got to be a little careful with peanut butter. And I know you and I've talked about us going through an elimination diet. You guys watch out for that, because I'm going to take Josie through an elimination diet, and you can follow along with us to the bouncing ball. But we'll take peanut butter out for a little while and see how your tummy's doing after that. So nut butters are big. Of course, meats, chicken, fish, and I'm a huge fish eater. You know how many cans I eat a can of sardines every day. And I'm thinking I'm going to need to increase it to a couple of cans of sardines. So my husband and I collectively are going to be eating 3 cans of sardines a day. I love them. They're so good. Oh my gosh. I never knew. I used to think it was just gross. But the best fish for getting your omega-3s are sardines, mackerel, SMASH is the acronym. Sardines, mackerel, anchovies, S. Salmon, and haddock are the big ones for your omega-3s. SMASH, and you want to try and get them wild if you can, right? It's much better. So then grass-fed beef, and I'm a fan of clean meats, and game meats are great, and there'll be until we've polluted our environment so heavily that even the game meats are bad. But that's going to be, I think, a long time from now. Hopefully we'll slow down on the toxins. And other, sources of protein are legumes, your beans, and your nuts and seeds. Another great place. In fact, you even have vegetables and things that will give you some protein. My favorite app for tracking all this stuff is MyFitnessPal. So MyFitnessPal, you can go into MyFitnessPal, and you can actually scan the barcodes of foods that you eat, or enter them in, and then find out exactly how many carbs, fats, and proteins they have. I'm not a calorie counter. I don't believe in counting calories. We really want to look more at the macros.